Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and we are doing our Kinfire Chronicles discussion. If you are fans of the channel, or you are watching the series, you know that there's always at least two discussions for a campaign. And we do the second one in one of two ways. Either we finish the campaign, and we talk about that, or we don't finish it, and we talk about why we're not continuing. And unfortunately, Kinfire Chronicles is the latter for that. And I want to mention right off the bat that I don't think this game is bad. I think this game has bones, like there, and I believe that's Incredible Dream is the publishing company. I think this is their first game. So they definitely have something here. But a lot of it is just not for me. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of it is not for me, especially in a slew of a ton of campaign games. That it's like, well, I'd rather just play any of those. Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about, like, you know, issues we have with the game that caused us to not want to continue. If there was one glaring thing for this game for you guys that would be like, I kind of just don't want to play anymore, what would it be?
It's just the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, and I'm bored.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the last one that we just did, the Quest 10, which was a little over the halfway point. Yeah, I just did not care at all about anything we were doing.
Well, and like, I also feel like they're not giving us enough story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whenever we do a fight, like, we spend time on a slog because, like, you can't rely on the bag. Like, there's mitigation, sure, but, like, you cannot rely on it going your way. Like,
yeah.
But
I mean, even the mitigation isn't good enough.
Right. And so, like, you do all this shit for, like, an hour or whatever, and then you get, like, a tidbit of a story, and you're like, that was it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It does, and most dungeon crawlers suffer from that, and I'm going to be making a ton of comparisons. Gloomhaven is that. It's heavy story than your dungeon crawl, with some story that kind of will eventually lead into the next dungeon crawl. But, and even with Gloomhaven's main story, it's like, I don't really know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But, so it's not like a huge narrative-driven game like Madara or Aeon Trespass, but I still agree. It's like, I'm not captivated by the story.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah. And like, frankly, the gameplay is not that exciting for me to be, like, invested.
Yeah.
Because I need story.
Right. Yeah, for sure. The issue that I have that kind of is, you know, trailing off of your thing is, I can't really tell the difference between the Harbinger fight and the two Antler fight that we had, you know, the first time.
Yeah.
Like the second fight we had.
No, the difference is, in order to move, we had to discard cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came up with one twist
Yeah.
for every new fight. They come up with one change.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Draw your cards. What can you do? Well, first wait for your turn. Then what can you do?
Yeah, that was true.
And then wait for your turn. And then wait for your turn.
All right.
Well, maybe should have, to keep everyone engaged, it's probably in the rules somewhere, who knows, there's 4 rule books, is you pass the draw bag around so everyone has a turn.
Feels like they're doing
It feels like they're
something,
participating. Yeah. It's like, oh, not me again.
Oh, this is fun.
Yes, that would keep me engaged.
Okay, Fred, I know you haven't had your token. Maybe you'll draw it.
Oh, what's that? Another black token?
Yeah, the fights, like, it's like, at the beginning, like, it's like cool that they can have multiple phases. The Wyvern fight sets the stage, and then you have 2 enemies. You're like, ooh, how's this gonna work? Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty much it. The most exciting fight I actually liked was the dude who had the illusions.
Yeah.
Like, but then it completely tanked because we ran and we're like, found you!
Yeah.
Beat his ass. And he's like, oh, wait, I also have a lantern. And we're like, nope, we're
like,
going.
give it! Beat the shit out of him.
And clearly they had not designed that fight with that possibility in mind.
Right.
But it is, roughly 20% of the time it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the fights, and I get it, and like here's the silver lining to that. Like I can probably do a positive to any negative I'm gonna say.
Sure.
The whole session of fight and city thing, city phase, is an hour.
Yeah.
And that is something that a lot of people will enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Is they can play a campaign game with
Small
their
chunks.
3 or 4 quests.
Yeah, you're not going to dedicate half a day to one game.
Right. Or you could and finish
You could,
it.
yeah.
Like whenever I'm doing I'll take this kind of feeling over Madara quest any day, because the Madara quest would sit there and be like, okay, I have it all set up, and this turned into 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And I am very upset with it being just as random. It may not be a drawback, and I guess I know when I'm going because there's an initiative track, but boy, when it's my turn and I'm like, okay, I have everything meticulously set, let's see if dice let me do it, and I missed. Okay, this is fun. 2.5 hours in, and I'm still missing. So that has its issues too. At least this is like, you just go, oh, who's going? Oh, who's going? Well, it's him. I think he's the only good shits in my example thing here.
But, yeah.
What they should have done, well, we'll talk about this bag in a sec.
We will get there.
Yeah, we will absolutely get there. But if it feels the same, which I feel like would be amplified if you did do like 4 in a row, which we usually do 3, and we're like, I'm tapped.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you
3 and we're like, Brett, get the fuck out of our house.
Yeah, you do want to
Wait,
kind
I
of.
want to keep playing.
You do want to, be invested in the story and be like, yeah, okay, the fights are kind of the same, but I'm excited to see what comes next, and you just did not care.
Yeah.
I liked the city phase for a little bit. That got monotonous.
Yes. Even with unlocking new areas, we were just like, can we just rest?
Yeah, it's like, can we just go to the inn?
Yeah.
And even it came to a point where it's like, we don't even want to go to the inn because we don't want to deal with these fucking cards anymore.
Yeah.
Brett, what was it for you?
Actually, I was going to say pretty much the same thing. For me, from the start, and it has never changed, it seems bipolar, by which I mean it's the thematic role-playing near system with the backstory and the legends and everything else all nicely drawn out on one side, and then when you get to the actual, and there's 2 mechanical games.
Yeah.
There's the card drawing and hoping for the right cards.
Right.
And
the
stacking your
randomness.
deck.
Yeah.
And there's the actual fights. They're completely unrelated.
Yeah.
The theme does not carry over.
No.
The artwork does. The colors and things, but for me, this is a strictly mechanical game.
Yeah.
I'm drawing cards. I'm seeing what my choices are. Here's my best one now. Oh, I can help you out. And then there's, let's hear the story and let's read the cards and see what's going on.
Let's hopefully hear the story, because Foreteller decided to crank up the background noise to 11.
That was also an interesting choice.
Yeah. No, I actually completely agree. Like, you only felt like your character every once in a while, maybe, in the story. Maybe.
Yeah.
I really love the art design.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they have a cool concept with all the different characters. You never see a dwarf wizard. That's never the case. I mean, you do see rogue assassins.
But
I liked Core as like a revenant kind of mech, and then with the other 3 we didn't play with. But like, none of the characters interacted with each other. Like, I feel like that could have been a possibility. Is you have story elements where the actual you put in who you're playing, and then they actually banter, or they will talk back and forth.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, it would be like, oh, is Core with you? Yeah. He smoothens out the ground. Ooh!
he makes a mud pie.
Yeah.
Why Why? Why does he smooth the ground?
Yeah, well, it was like, hey, now everyone can draw +1 card. Okay.
Which is a game mechanic that has nothing to do with the theme of your character.
Yeah, well, he's like earthy, like he's like supposed to be like in nature, but yeah.
It's a stretch.
It really is.
What does
like,
that have to do with the card?
But even whenever you're drawing 3 cards, it was kind of like, well, I guess I'm all about red, so I should draw red, and I did. But never once did I ever really feel like I was role-playing as this character.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff was just kind of being told to us, and when we leveled up and got more backstory, I was like, I don't care about anyone's stuff.
Yeah. I especially didn't really care about yours because I was like, I just feel like it was lame, like the reveal of like you're just some.
I'm just some pompous rich dude.
Yeah.
Some heavily, like, almost insultingly French accent guy.
Yeah. I was like, man, I like Core the way he is.
I also, as more and more
mystery.
came, I liked the fact that he was just of gentle spirit.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, you must go out and get my castle.
Are you? What was that, Yoda?
Angry
Castle
Yoda.
you must get.
That'd be more interesting.
But yeah,
Then-
like.
And yours was like, your brother left you, then died.
I thought I was betrayed by my brother, and I
you're
was like,
like-
"You're a big piece of shit."
And then he was like, you got mad. He
was like-
who the hell was your, I don't remember yours at
Your
all.
aunt wants you to
I
do
was-
something.
Spiritual whiny is all I really remember.
Spiritual whining.
It's like, why? Why do I have to do this? Because you have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I guess I
Well,
will.
you did say it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of, like, if you want to be invested with a character, like, I do like it when the characters are already written, because it takes a lot of the agency off the player to try and roleplay and roleplay well.
It's not a role-playing game, which is
not.
good unless you want a role-playing game. Don't play this.
Yeah, exactly. But whenever they're already pre-written, you want them to be invested in the story. You want those characters to be showing up. Again, Madara has pre-written characters, and they have personalities. Like, by the time you're done with that, you're just like, you care about certain characters. Here, it's like, I'm a deck of cards.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's
deck
just an
of boost
asymmetry
cards.
to the player, to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only compare it to Sleeping Gods as the other long...
Right. And hell,
open
even
world
then I felt
campaign.
those characters were more fleshed out.
Oh, absolutely. Well, because the comparison there is that's less game mechanic and more
that is true.
literary.
That is true.
But the game mechanics fit smoothly and carry into the story.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a real strong dividing line between playing a game and listening to story.
Right. So, which again, like, some people might not want a lot of reading and listening. You know, I've had episodes of Madara that were literally 30 minutes of listening to a story.
Jesus.
Which, that's great if you're really into that and you're aware of that. Some people don't want that, and so they want the snippets just to get into the game. They want to play this and, you know, play it with however many you can play this with, I can't remember. Yeah. And give their 8-year-old the badass orc chick. And this game, you know how sometimes we, like, talk about games where we're like, who is this for? Mm-hmm. I know exactly who this is for. This is for light campaign family type players.
Yeah. 8 to 14, and then parents who get dragged along with it.
Right.
Who can afford the game.
Exactly. So, instead of constantly being like, okay, well, here's what Gloomhaven does, and here's what this game does, let's talk about what this game does. So we'll talk about the combat. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I feel like there was just like the evolution of us realizing that we weren't having fun in combat, like real time. That you like, if you watch these videos back to back, it's just like us getting shittier and shittier, like with the game.
We get scared, like we just get dirty, like we're just like, you know, whenever like, because I would sit here and be like, look at my cards. When you literally draw your hand, and then you're like, why am I looking at that? It doesn't matter.
I think there was a time where like Core almost died, and like you were pretty fucking mad, and I would be too, because it's just like, well, I wish I had my sweet bomb.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I wish I could use it.
Oh, because you couldn't
I can't go, and that's so annoying. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there were a couple of times the first 5 or 6 draws were all black.
yeah,
Well, hope we live long
Yeah.
enough to do
But, like,
something.
no one drew any shit mitigation, or like nobody drew any. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
or and the fact that the fate tokens are like, they go into this void box, so it like doesn't want you to use them, but then it floods you with use them. Eventually, I quit giving a shit. I'm like, let's use them.
Yeah.
yeah.
What they should do, because that's before drawing a chit, and so the mitigation in this game is still absolute ass. Because what it should be is you draw and be like, oh, I don't want this to go off.
Yeah.
Then use a fate.
Because then you can change your fate.
Right. Instead of being like, oh, let's draw 4 from the bag, and oh, I mean, we got rolling there, but it's
Yeah.
like you could still, I drew 2 core. You could draw that
Yeah.
and be like, okay, I guess let's see which one is not the worst one. Oh, they all suck. Yeah, so I would honestly scrape out before on this and put after. Because the other really annoying thing about the mitigation is you put the damn chit back into the bag.
Yeah.
So it's like, you may draw it again.
Yeah.
No!
I will draw it again because now my chances are higher.
Are the exact same.
Because I took one of mine out.
Yeah, like what it needs to be is fate token you draw. Number 1. Okay, yeah, we can handle that. Or, ooh, that'll kill us. Okay, let's spend a fate.
Yeah.
Right.
And then keep it out of the goddamn bag, and then you draw 4.
Or,
go, oh, thank God.
or you draw 3 more and choose from what you draw.
Yeah, whatever actually, when you're spending a limited resource, whatever actually mitigates this.
Yeah.
And I think I have a way to fix this. This is awful. Like, if there's one thing that is actively knocking a point out of my score from this game down, it is 100% this bag. And we talked about it in the initial discussion when we're like,
We'll see how it goes.
we'll see how it goes. And it, many sessions, yeah, like you mentioned, this was very recent, where it was like, oh, okay, you get, like, Core gets hit, and now he has hurt cards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna die. And we rallied back and won.
Yeah.
But it was like, you just have no agency of sitting there and be like, okay, and this is actually the one game I do not want to fail forward.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't make, well, and also, like, I don't think it really makes sense to fail forward, because if that's the case, like, why have us fail?
Right.
that's true.
Like-
Yeah. Like, fail forward is whenever you're actively, like, we're all, like, strategizing, and then it just doesn't, it's not in the cards for you to
Yeah.
win this. And you're like, oh, man, we really put in an hour and a half to try and do this, and then be like, you still keep the story going. Instead of being like, oh, like Gloomhaven, reset. It took 2 hours. I'm
Yeah.
not fucking doing
Yeah.
that.
Well, and also, like, fail forward feels like, to me, like they were like, oh, well, we know it's pretty random, so we'll let you just keep going.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is 100% the reason why that's in there. Because whenever we did, the one time we failed, which was just, hey, these enemies just flood your hand with hurt. Your turn? Okay, you die. It was like, oh, the Hierophant shows up and, farts in your face, and it's like, I guess I'll do it all myself. It's like, what the fuck? All the stuff we didn't have you do.
Did think of one thing.
Go for it.
Did think of something that ties the combat system game together with the literary aspect.
It's made by the same company.
No, I figured it out. I
Okay.
think it's the only thing.
Okay.
Trophies.
Oh, yeah.
The trophies that nobody cares about.
God, the abundance.
Yeah, the trophies that you go and... Again, that's a cool idea.
Yes.
That's a Witcher idea. Being like, hey, by the way, boom, here's the Harbinger's head. Oh, sweet, I could make this glorifying, whatever moth weapon. What do you think would a moth weapon have?
Lightning.
Sure. This
A
mystical
big
blade
fly swatter they can carry.
that you can use. Here you go. Equip it. Yeah, that'll just go in my pack, and I hope I draw it. Yeah, the trophies are a cool idea, except, not all of them are used.
Right.
A lot of them are fodder to sell to get money, which is kind of disappointing, but it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
But, put it in the pile.
Yeah, because, again, I think it's a little, ambitious to think that your combat is good enough to make us want to constantly go out and fight and then sell the trophies.
That would also be, if we actually had to make a choice, that'd be cool. Or it's like Kingdom Death. where you're like, ooh, okay, we really want this armor set, or we go and it's just like, yeah, I have this blueprint for this wyvern cloak, but they're really hard to kill. Ooh, well, we know where our wyvern's at. Let's go try and kill it, so we can get the trophy and come back.
Right.
Obviously, that's adding a lot more than what this game is wanting to do, so they just kind of have you fight.
Well, that's a lot less random. They want to keep it random. So, well, collect the trophies, and then maybe you'll find a shopkeeper who wants them. And maybe they'll turn them into something useful.
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll actually want to put that in your deck.
Yeah, and maybe you can only do that when you rest.
Yeah.
But you spent all your money on a liquid piss potion.
Well, now we were warned.
No, it was like, this is amazing.
I mean,
there's only one
real.
of these.
Yeah, it was a real potion. It just really wasn't.
You feel rejuvenated. Here's a shit ton of Kinfire. Okay?
Yes.
We'll get to all that in a sec.
Yeah.
So, this bag, the mitigation is absolutely awful. It wasn't until we finally randomly opened a card or a pack that gave us Feint that had an ability that was like, hey, draw 5 cards and put a number. It's like, great, okay. I think I have a way to somewhat fix this if they wanted to, and I thought about this on a random drive where I was thinking about driving off a bridge.
But instead
I was like, ooh, they can fix this. So if they want to keep the chit bag, because there is, to some people, not to me at all, there is something that could be exciting of not knowing who's going to get to go win. Like, ooh, who's it going to be? Oh, yay, it's us. It's the same reason of people who love to roll dice for success or failure.
Right.
Here's what I think. You have 2 phases. You have 2 bags. One bag with the hero chits in it, one bag with the enemy chits in it. Okay. You have 2 phases. Hero phase, where you just draw 1 chit, and the enemy phase, you draw 1 chit.
Okay.
That way, at least you are guaranteed to go. You don't know who's going, so we can sit there and still be like, okay, Kat, if you're drawn, then you can do this, and if you're drawn, then we can do this.
That's true.
And then, when it comes to the enemy phase, you look at where the numbers are, and you're going to be more invested by looking at them, being like, okay, 4 and 3 are in here, but 2 will kill us, so we don't want to draw 2. You still have that, but... And it's like, oh yeah, okay, Kat, you are going. Now you can do this. You're invested in both turns instead of just having a big conglomeration of like no one knows.
Right.
You're guaranteed player turn and enemy turn instead of being enemy turn, enemy turn, enemy turn, enemy turn, enemy turn.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
That's my fix for it. Because to me, that's no different than Aeon's End with the random initiative deck, and it's just like, okay, we win if we go, but we lose if they go, and then you flip it and you're just like, yay, or but there's just putting it all in one bag, just it feels worse. And then
random. It's too random for as invested as they want us to be in the characters and the story and the winning. There's so much we can't control.
Right. Because even then, it's like, the opposite is true. If it's always our tokens, then the enemies don't have anything about them to... It's just like, I mean, the Harbinger had the most health out of any enemy we fought, and because our tokens came out and we were in the Starless Night thing, it was like, oh, well, we got our Kinfire or our Lanterns. Okay, so those are dead draws, and yeah, whooped his ass. And Kat was like, oh, that was our most fair fight, and I'm like, not really.
Yeah, it was the most advantageous.
Yeah.
We had a lot more advantages than in the early games. Too.
Yeah. I think because we have had, out of the 10 or so episodes, we've probably had maybe 2 that actually were, like, good. I felt satisfied by, it was a good chunk of them, good chunk of us. The one time where I was going to die, and then it was like, well, let's just call it. And then we started getting our tokens, and we rallied back and ended up winning. It's like, oh, yay, okay, cool. It wasn't, but you're...
Yeah. It's the fact that, like, it didn't have anything to do with us. It's just the fact that we had the chance.
Right, that's
the chance
true. That's actually a good point. The fact that it's like, well, we didn't do any of that.
Because it's like, oh, see that we are actually good. It's just that we're not being drawn.
Yeah. And then, on top of that, the card play. Like, I don't mind the cards themselves. I think the boost is a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they kind of wanted... They knew they had inspiration from a bunch of these games that I've been mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't obviously want to copy those, so they wanted to make it... They're like, okay, well, there's the games that we really like. How can we be unique? Well, chit bag and boost cards.
Mm-hmm.
Boost cards are thematically not tied in any way.
Dumb.
Makes no sense. While you over here and me over here and I'm being attacked, you're like, I'll defend you!
Yeah. Dumb.
I think the boost cards are meant, because it's random, and it's super random, it's meant to keep players engaged when it's not their turn. If I'm the one being attacked that just rushes over to me, you guys can defend or something, but that's really the extent of it. Oh, it's my turn to attack. I'm gonna do a 5 damage attack. Oh, I can increase that by 2, so now it's 10 damage.
Yeah, and it never kept me engaged because the amount of times that it's like, oh, can a green help? No?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And the boost cards are color coded. I almost feel like all boosts should be
white or
white.
So, like it.
Or the color shouldn't matter like it did for me.
Yeah.
Because none of them are very powerful at all.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we've leveled up a bunch of times, we've gotten a bunch of things, and still the best we can do is add 2 more damage
For real.
to a hit.
Exactly.
And I don't know if we'll talk about this later, but like I feel like the color coordination is like arbitrary, completely arbitrary.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can talk about that. I feel like we can remind me of that because we're gonna talk about the cards in a sec.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I will.
But yeah, in terms of the fighting, I thought the actual action cards were fun.
Yeah.
I thought like the wards and stuff were were cool. Those were like passive abilities. But I'd much rather just have 2 hand slots, a helmet slot, a boot slot to be like, oh, this wyvern cloak, that's an accessory that's equipped to me.
Yeah.
That's the enchanted blade, that's a weapon I chose to get. So like, make it to where you exhaust it, or their one-time use in the fight, or something, instead of being like, I hope I draw.
Yeah.
Because the cards is no different than Arkham Horror, the card game, where you draw, hey, I drew my shotgun. Now I'm going to use my shotgun. It's really no different than that, but in that I really feel like I'm my character. That's a game that ties mechanics and narrative really well together. So yeah, hate the bag. If they're taking any notes, just make a phase, 2 phases. That at least I don't know if that would work. I can't see any reason why that wouldn't.
Yeah.
Where it's just
unless it just makes it too easy. But
maybe, but then design your fights better. That's the thing. It's like if having 2 phases of the enemy because that's the thing. Like other games, Descent or Kingdom Death Monster has it to where it's like the bosses or the fights are super brutal, but that's because it's just one of them. So it's their turn, and then it's the hero phase. Did we all get to go? You don't have to do that. Just keep your stupid chits and be like, okay, hero turn. Well, let's see who's going between us. Okay, it's Cat this time. Okay, now it's the enemy, so you do your turn. Then it goes to the enemy. Okay, it's Cat this time.
It's only me, baby.
Okay, it's number 6. Go back to the enemy bag or the hero bag. That might have fixed it for me. I probably would have actually looked at my hand and cared, and we could have talked about, okay, depending on who goes, like, what are we gonna do? But
yeah, because it takes a lot for you to not want to strategize. Like that's so against your core.
Right? Yeah, whenever I draw my hand of 7 and I set it aside because it doesn't matter what I can do, because who knows when I'm gonna get to go ever.
Yeah.
It literally could be 1 through 12 and then the darkness token. And then, we're dead by that point.
Yeah.
All right. City phase. So after getting through the slog, it's not even really a slog because the fights are quick, whether you win or lose.
Yeah. They were all typically, 15 minutes?
The fights?
Yeah.
No.
20 maybe?
No. Oh, well, actually, yeah, because you're talking about the story stuff, then the fight, and then the city phase.
They always feel longer.
This one felt short.
This one definitely felt short.
They're probably like 25, 30 minutes.
Okay.
The fights. Yeah, because they average about an hour and a half the whole video.
Mm-hmm.
So
I want to say real quick how I feel the city phase feels to me.
yeah,
It feels like the last day of vacation where you're tired and you don't want to keep going out.
right.
And you're just like, can we just stay
I
in?
just want to go back to the inn. We fought this harbinger of death. I just want to go back to the inn and take a nap.
No, I don't want to go to the monster collector. I don't.
I don't want to hope that I'll find something on that park bench.
I don't want to go to the fucking gym, okay?
Of course, like, you want to go to the garden? No, Cord, no. Okay, so the city phase. At the beginning, I was like, awesome. We're going to learn a little bit more about this world in this massive city. And then the second time we visited, I was like, oh, it's shopping. Because most...
Or gaining memories that may have an effect, but that's random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so many times our city action was like, let's go to the lighthouse. You know, the great lighthouse that, like, our whole thing is about. And it's like, oh, you don't have this memory. Go away.
Yeah, we know you're a seeker.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Anyway, bye.
Okay, I can't even get a tour. Okay.
You're right. Yeah, they gave you these pamphlets, which, again, nice little touch. Felt like it was a brochure.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh.
Well written.
Beautiful.
Oh, hey, guys, we've never been to Denlux. Where do we want to go? Oh, it says the Well of Hope. Sounds...
And you unlock more areas.
Yeah.
And more options.
Yeah. But a lot of it turned into... You want more cards?
Mm-hmm.
You want to get more cards?
We should get some healing stuff.
Yeah, it's like, all right, well, we used our sweet bomb. Let's go get more. Mm-hmm. Like, it just kind of eventually felt like we didn't want to explore anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else to explore.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's it.
The rest of them, probably, some of them will give memories that will be advantages if we happen to stumble across those spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is highly replayable, and yet I don't want to.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, or they feel punishing. Like, that one that really took it out of me was that fucking 10 gold potion that's like, okay, well, let's go sell some trophies so we can afford the inn, and everyone gets 2 Kinfire tokens. Wow, you really, really want us to deconstruct. Like, more than anything, more than putting in, invigorating writing, more than putting in design for a fight, you want us to constantly fuck with our decks.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, cool, I just fucked with my deck. In 40 more minutes, I will be fucking with my deck again, so go get wrecked. Like,
yeah, it is... The cards are egregious. Like, in a bad way. Not that giving more cards is bad, but everything gave you more cards. The concept of a loot pack is cool every once in a while, or if you do something extra to earn it.
Yeah.
Whenever it's like, man, our cards like there are let's say there's 21 total quests. Let's say you do all of them. There's 21 total missions in Oathsworn. You get new cards at level 5, 10, and 15.
Okay.
And that's it. And that feels good. You don't feel like, it's not like after 5 games, you're like, man, I'm kind of over my cards. You're like, oh, new cards. And it's like 3.
Yep.
And then but you're still restricted on how many you can have in your hand. Same thing here. You're restricted to 9 action cards. And
they have to be a certain color.
They have to be the certain color. And then the boosts associated. When you're fucking...
That's our reject pile?
Huh?
That's our reject pile?
This is our unused cards. And this is the neutral ones, because you also have unused character cards.
Oh.
Yeah. So is that probably 3 times what our combined decks are?
Yeah. Look, and I get it. Like, some people will absolutely want to meticulously spread out their cards, and min-max. I can be that player because I used to play Magic, or Arkham Horror the card game has you min-max your deck, but you spend XP and you add a card.
Yeah. And what are you calling it? Mid-max?
I think it's min-max.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's with an N.
What is
Minimize,
that?
maximize.
That's minimize, maximize, which
Okay.
is basically meticulously making sure that you have the best possible thing out of anything.
Gotcha. And didn't we just agree that this game is not for adults?
That's true.
So you think a fucking...
That's a good point. We did just say that this feels like it wants to be family friendly, and you do,
But heavy.
because you also wear out the allure, like
Yeah. It's
opening a
not
pack and be like, oh shit, what are we gonna get? Like a loot box. Yeah. If you get a loot box every 5 minutes, it's like, okay, like I don't care
like,
what's
man,
in it.
When your waitress is like, she brings you more breadsticks, and she's like, it's on me. And but then she like,
And it's just again.
like she just keeps bringing you breadsticks.
Yeah,
You're like,
I don't want any more. I'm not going back to that restaurant.
but she's like, hey, but when you're here, you're here. You know
When
what
you're
I mean?
here, you're here.
But like it loses its appeal, and it loses like it doesn't make you feel special.
You don't care. You don't care that you drew into a guarded strike. You don't care about killing intent because they all eventually just start to sound the
They
same.
sound the same.
Well, they're all variants of the same thing.
True.
Truly, yeah.
And I actually
It's-
started really strategizing anytime I had the opportunity, which of course slows things down.
Yeah.
When you do that every hour and a half.
Yeah. Or if you're playing with people who are like that and everyone else is just kind of like, I like my deck the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not going to mess with it, but then one person's like really trying to figure it out and it's like, so are we going to do another quest or, well, hold on, in like
Maybe
20...
tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow. It's like, it's so just lazy. Like, it really is.
Or random.
Or, again,
It strikes
random.
me. It struck me as random because I was like, well, I want to replace this card, but I don't want to take the one that goes with it.
Yeah.
So I gotta weigh that thing. And
Which is like the pairing
why
of-
is this one 2 colors and this one's only 1?
Yeah.
There's not a clear advantage. There's just decisions.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, well, I really like the action of this, but I don't like the boost that comes with it, so that kind of trashes the boost concept.
Yeah.
But the boost is a white, so that's going to be useful.
Right. No,
But if you have a
those are all
choice
good
between
points.
like, oh, give someone movement, or put a chit back in the bag, you want the chit, but the
Yeah.
card that goes with the chit is the one you want to get rid of.
Because there's no tactile, really, decisions on moving. This one had it because there was actual stuff. Some locations had, like, oh, if you go in here, you get a trap card. Okay, but most of the time, you're just not really moving, so the extra movement was more of just get in, get out.
Yeah.
Or, hey, we have to get to the flag. Okay, let's boost everyone's movement so we can rush to the end. But
There's once or twice that somebody needed to move twice to do a melee attack.
yeah, but few and far between.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing about these treasure packs that you draw. The only cards I actually cared about were obviously the ones where we leveled up. Where it was like, hey, now your lantern ability is upgraded. Badass.
Yeah.
Or
and
flicker
a clear, complete upgrade.
Yes. Yeah, that's going here. Or you get some awesome, like with Core, it was like Flicker was a ward action that, hey, she defends for you and increases your attack.
Right.
Badass.
And thematic.
Yeah, and thematic. But these random, and there's nothing wrong about like loot packs, like just seeing what you get. But whenever your bronze packs and your silver packs do not feel any different, it's arbitrary. It doesn't matter what you're drawing.
Yep.
So you're flooded.
Flaw.
You're flooded with cards, and if it
And
was
limitations.
and limitations, and even if you like, because like the packs that we would get, like, oh hey, the truth-seeking arrow that you could shoot any enemy. It's like, yeah, that sounds cool. Oh wait, like let's say you find 4 cards that you really like and you want to put in your deck. Oh wait, we can only rest at the inn, and we can only put 1 in. Why do you flood? Why flood with this many cards and then restrict you on how you build your deck?
Or this one has 2 Kinfire, and I just don't have that much, so I can't have it.
Which-
There was one time that I actually had to count up and go, crap, I can't take that card.
Really?
Yep.
See, I thought you were making a joke about, oh, I don't have enough Kinfire because that's all we have is...
Well,
Had to be
now,
early,
but that's
yeah.
back when I had like 6 or 7.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have 15.
And I was like, I want that card, but the one it replaces, nope, I don't have enough. I can't do it.
I'm
and
sure...
I don't remember it for next time.
Yeah, and I'm sure that
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what they wanted, was the Kinfire amount you get to scale with the cards you got, so that you are making those decisions. You're like, okay. But whenever your bronze packs and your silver packs come out, and then you're like, oh, well, this card only has one Kinfire. I have 15. Although, funny enough, we did count at the end of the last one. I think it was number 9. We're flooded with Kinfire. I think I had like 6 or 7, and I only had 10 Kinfire. I was like, I'm actually closer to that than I thought.
Yeah.
Because I thought I had like no Kinfire in my deck and 20 Kinfire tokens, so I thought I wasn't anywhere close. So I was surprised to find that I actually had some Kinfire cards. But yeah, it's like it wants to be restricted, but it wants to be lax. Like, here's a bunch of stuff, so you have options, but then none of those options are good.
So it's bipolar.
Or they are good. Yeah, it's bipolar. Or they are good, but yet, oh, well, that's a green card, and this is where Kat has a huge issue with. That's a green card. Well, I really like my 4 green cards. So I guess I'm not taking it out. Which, to me, like, that's kind of a good Gloomhaven comparison, because Gloomhaven is like, ooh, my level 5 card is really badass. So for me, it's always easier on what card I want, but then you look at, like, I'm restricted to 9. It's like, what card do I take out? It's like, this top ability is really good, so I'll take out this one, but shit, that's my move bot. Like, the bottom effect is my move. Ooh!
But you're going to keep that card for a while.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah.
Here, it's like... I feel like that's what they wanted. They wanted you to really like the action, but then like the boost of another. And be like, oh, God, do I take this boost out with it? Because the boost that comes with the new card isn't as good. But yeah, like...
Which, that's fucked up.
It's like,
am I leveling up or not?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, yeah, some people, if you don't like that, you don't like that. Okay. To me, that's the decision making that is kind of like, I really love this top ability in Gloomhaven, but if I'm replacing another card with a better bottom ability, it's like, that's what you try and do. But again, you only go to level 9 in Gloomhaven and you earn XP, so you take time to level up. Here, it's like, here's cards!
And you don't know when or if you're going to be able to use them.
Oh, because they go in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, because there was a time where I was trying to strategize with the deck. Like, I was like, I'm going to kind of go more into drawing attention, having a bunch of armor, and so you guys deal damage and they'll just keep attacking me. And I did that, I felt. But...
And then you were done.
And then I was done. I'm like, okay, I have no reason to ever upgrade this. It would be better if they didn't flood you with a shit ton of different cards, but they flooded you with better cards of what you already have.
Right.
No,
like,
totally.
do you really like your whatever spear?
My
Stiletto of Speed? Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Here's another one, but it's better.
Yeah.
Which is what they did with the lantern.
Yep. Finally.
Which is great. I can count on one hand how many times I've used my lantern.
I feel like we've all used our lanterns a pretty good amount of time.
I think I've only used mine 4 or 5. Maybe.
I feel like I've only started to use mine like really recently.
Yeah.
Mainly because, I wasn't going a whole lot because
That's
I got
true.
big bag.
Yeah, because of the chip bag.
But
what I think, and all of these negatives that I feel like I'm bringing up and shitting on the game, they're all based off the bones that they can work on.
Yeah.
Chit bag, sure, it's unique. Split it.
We're nitpicking the problems because the foundation is decent.
Yeah.
We're hitting it because we love it.
Yeah.
But it makes the problems more obvious.
Which causes us to be like, well, unfortunately, this is not the game that they made, so I don't want to keep playing. Yeah. But what they could have done that would have been badass is, you want to have these treasure packs? Cool. Don't do individual loot boxes of nothing cards that just add to a pile. Do what they did with when we leveled up. These things. Yeah. These big ones. Have a bunch of these that whenever we get cards, it's all tailored to the players. Like the actual characters. Characters feel more fleshed out. You put in cards, or you still have to deal with the whole deck building construction, or the deck construction aspect of the game, but it feels like you're still you as a player.
Yeah.
And then maybe have shops that have specific shop items. Like, you keep the city deck, and all the cards that are in here are like, okay, well, now we turned in the... whatever. We turned in the Wraith. And got a Wraith item. And that's a neutral card that can go anywhere. But don't just give 60 neutral cards. But alas, that's not what they did.
Oh, well.
They didn't do that.
But
I'm curious to know what like people's actual thoughts are of. I can see people liking this. Oh, I don't really have to put too much thought into it. We can just set it up.
Yeah, or the tension of, we got a great plan, but let's see how it turns out.
Yeah.
And see, to me, I get so, like, and, you know, it's a me thing. I get it. Like, it's something that I have to work on. I get so angry when we sit here and strategize, and then it's like, it doesn't matter. We don't know what's going to happen.
And
stresses me the fuck out.
That's why I quit. That's why I quit strategizing.
Yeah.
I
tried.
This reminds me, last night I just happened to stumble across a YouTube video of the single worst game mechanic that almost all classic American games are built around.
Okay.
And it never even occurred to me, but it is absolutely true, which is the roll and move.
Yeah.
Roll dice and move that many spaces. And this is pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Roll the move is an archaic mechanic that has basically been eradicated.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Except in American games.
I mean, I can't...
Not modern ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like...
But yeah, it didn't occur to me. These are all pretty much the same with different flavor.
Yeah.
And this is the same concept. You're totally randomly figuring out who's going to move, then they have total control over what they can do for a very short time.
Yeah. I think, because I was listening to the Dice Tower talk about their review, and everything they said, like, which was all positive, you know, the anticipation of not knowing who's going to go. Mm-hmm. And I was like, maybe I'm just super jaded, or a skeptic, but I was like, that's the response of players who have played 3 quests. Mm-hmm. Like, unless, like, that to me, it's like, I can't imagine that anticipation stacking 10 quests later. But maybe it is.
It's not for strategic gamers, because there's no strategy.
Yeah.
Or because campaign games are a dime a dozen. Is that right?
That's the right phrase.
Okay. Where there's a bunch
Although
of them.
they're far more expensive than that.
Yeah,
Yes.
like and
that's the whack part. Yeah.
And that's what I gravitate towards. I love campaign games, and that's what I tend to back a lot more of, so I play a lot of them. Right. But for people, and this is a really solid price point. The game is cheap, and like I said, it's for people who don't want to play.
With quality.
Huh?
With hellacious quality.
It is really good quality, yeah. I love the acrylic standees.
But for the most part.
Like, in terms of, like, this upgrade kit, I actually consider, if we had continued playing, I would have taken the sleeves off. Because I actually hate the fact that we're like limited on our exhaust cards, even though we shouldn't be, because we have sleeves. But it's like, well, these go into your hand, but we have sleeved cards, but those aren't sleeved because they didn't give me enough. They didn't give any neutral sleeves.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I love the fact that the sleeves are character tailored.
Yes.
But if you're gonna do an upgrade kit, be able to sleeve everything. But yeah, the quality is amazing. The price point is really good. So that's what a lot of people are probably gonna like, is the fact that it's short. It's not like Aeon Trespass, which was $1,000 to get everything for.
Wow.
Granted, those are miniatures and all that, but it's not 90-something quests like Gloomhaven. It's not rules heavy like a bunch of other games. So it's like, this game definitely has a place in the campaign industry, or the campaign genre. Just for me and for us, it sounds like nothing that makes it kind of stand out is anything that we're wanting.
Agreed.
Which is fine.
True.
That's fine. Like,
can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't please any of us.
I refuse to be pleased.
Here's one thing, because as far as I'm aware, they're not done with this world.
Nice.
Probably.
They have something I think called Kinfire Delve, which I think I haven't really looked into, but as far as I can tell, they sound like standalone, kind of just do a dungeon.
Okay.
But if they were to continue or do a second edition, I think, one, do not do 4 rule books.
I was waiting. Yep.
Because Isafarian Guard did the exact same thing. You know what they did? They listened to people saying, hey, this is fucking annoying when I need to find something and I have to trudge through 4 rule books. Eventually, I'm just going to start making shit up so I can play the game. Mm-hmm. In their second edition, they're like, yeah, we heard you. We're making it 2. Because you do need multiple books for that, but like 1 rule book and then 1 something else.
Yeah.
And I get what they were wanting. They were wanting it to just be a jump in. Right. Jump in, pick this, have them tell you how to play, and then, okay, well now you've gotten to a point in the quest where combat's here. Now we're going to teach you about combat. That could have been the tutorial 1 book. And then you could have had an actual rule book.
Yeah, yeah.
Because eventually, like, you're just going to forget. No matter how simple a game is, you are going to forget something.
Yeah.
Well, and we missed several what turned out to be pretty important rules.
Yeah, like...
just because we either didn't read them or we didn't remember.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that we didn't remember. It was more like, oh, wait, do we get armor at the beginning of a exploration thing or not? Whenever we discard, do we discard... If I've accumulated 10 armor, do I lose all that armor? Mm-hmm. And then just draw up to 3? Just things that it's like, I don't know what book that's in.
Yeah, and one thing that will absolutely kill things for me is when it starts to feel like a job. Because it's like, if you're having to give everybody a rule book to find a rule, it's like, okay, well, this has become something I'm not even getting paid for, but I'm working for. Like, and I'm not about free labor. So.
Yeah, it's...
I will not go through self-checkout.
I won't! It's free!
Yeah, and, I mean, even then... It's like, it's funny because Isafarian Guard they obviously fixed their rulebook issue. And I found it easier to find rules in there because they had a quick play. They're like, hey, here's a thing. And so it's like, oh, like, what does this icon mean? Oh, I'll look at the quick player aid. This doesn't even have that. Mm-hmm. Oh, they have some stuff for later, but that's just not pertinent to anything like we're talking about. So, if they were to fix anything... I think that they could completely restructure their combat without losing what they're going for. Mm-hmm. You can still have your randomness, but you can actually make people be more invested. Mm-hmm. They would have to completely overhaul their card system, which I don't think they're going to do. But I think they could if they were to make like a sequel. I think making it character tailored level up cards would be really cool, and have like shops be neutral cards that anyone can get, so you can actually discuss and be like, hey, we have 15 money. Okay, well, both of these cost 10, so do we buy one? Okay, for Kat, this would be really good for her because of the character-specific cards she has.
Yep.
And for Brett, this would be really good for you, so who do we buy for?
Because it's another green that he needs.
Yeah, yeah, or stuff like that. But whenever we quit doing city actions because we just didn't want to deal with more cards, you're losing a player base. Mm-hmm.
And the non-card... city actions were just a little snippet of a story and maybe something that may at some point mean something.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not opposed to the memories. Like
so those could introduce side quests.
Yes.
Like where did the one that we went on come from?
We went to a location. It was you talk about the alchemist.
Yeah,
I guess
at
where we found like
Vinland or whatever.
Vinland Saga. Yeah.
Vina.
Yes. Yeah, I just remember that it came up, and I had no idea where to get it.
It was a location that gave us a quest prompt,
right,
and not a memory. Which, again, the ones whenever it's like, do you have memory? It never felt consequential, but there was one quest we did where it was like, oh, that's her parents. Here's a memory. It's like, oh, well, we spared her. That could be cool. I'm all for branching decisions, like when we're sitting here going... do we actually, do we rush towards to get into the building, or do we try and kill this thing? Having players decide what they want to do for a better outcome, I feel is warranted to be here. But man, whenever it's not warranted, Madara did that shit where it's like, hey, you can go all the way out of your way to this loot chest, and it was a trap. It's like, that added 45 minutes. Or, it's more enemies. Yeah, and I remember... months later and many, many quests later, Dev and I were playing Madara, and I was like, you know what? I will humor you. We will go after that loot, and if it's not fucking worth it, I am never doing that again. And it wasn't worth it. And I'm like, dude, I told you it is ass. Not that this game does that, but I'm just saying that if you're going to take on a harder challenge, you should be rewarded for it in here.
Yeah. Because it's funny to be like, haha, got you every once in a while, but when it's a haha, got you, it's like, when is it going to be treasure?
Yeah. or man, I just, like, the fight sucked.
Or like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? You
Yeah. Yeah. I had one thing that I was gonna bring up.
You have 5 seconds to remember.
Did it have to do with putting everything away?
Yes!
Oh.
Okay.
How do you know?
Because you're the only one who has?
Don't forget to talk about resale.
Yeah, well, actually, that's what I thought he meant. Yeah, so another really bad problem, and this, funny enough, kind of comes down to the cards and to the quest system. Again, it's nice to be said that it isn't a chore to set the game up.
Right.
It's not even a chore to tear down. But there's also something to be said about trying to have your cake and eat it too, because the storage system for the characters is a tuck box. That is awful. That is awful. It is so bad. Especially because these bags didn't come with the game, so normally it would just be throw in your handful of Kinfire in your box.
Yeah.
Wait,
There's no
hope none
such
of them
thing
fall
as
out.
wear and tear.
Yeah, and organize it. It's so bad that like those should have been like it'd be higher quality, but if they were actual boxes that held your deck and held your tokens and held your character sheet, and then you put this on top, you just cover it. So that all you have to do, which I like, is okay. Here's your character. Boop,
Yeah.
boop, boop, done. Instead, it's like, well, the boxes are kind of destroyed and they don't really fit everything.
Yeah. Or you opened it wrong that one time, so you ripped it. So
Yeah, I got
Never
caught
play
on the
with me
got
again,
caught
yeah.
on the little tabs. Yes. So, like, the fact that it is a small footprint game, I actually really love the fact that the box is this board.
Yeah.
I think that's genius.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the top of the box is the
The backboard of all this.
yeah,
That is
and
cool.
so all you do, I mean, like the tuck boxes for the quests. I mean, they're in those card sleeve things that you hold cards, but you just pop that down on top, and when you want to play, you just take it off and set. I think that's genius.
Yeah.
I mean, for recording, I had to use the upgrade kit because I couldn't show the game lid, but it's cool. I think that's neat.
Yeah. Give him that.
But again, where it gets even worse, and it comes down to these stupid fucking loot boxes, or these loot packs, and the quests, and the cards, there's no way to reorganize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like in a perfect world, you wouldn't sell a game that you bought. You would keep it.
They were. That's
Yeah, but that's just not
That's
how
ambitious.
things. That's not how things work
yeah.
anymore.
They
Like
thought
that's.
they thought everyone would love their game.
Yeah, it turns out the market's flooded and we want to play other things.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and even if we finished it, I most likely wouldn't be like, I want to replay this one.
Right,
I want to replay Sleeping Gods.
exactly.
Or for those who do, because they want to explore other avenues that we didn't try.
Yeah.
We want to get other memories, see how that turns out differently.
Then they're in the same boat of just
Yeah.
like.
You cannot reset the game and start over.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you can
Maybe.
with your character. But yeah, like opening the packs, it's like, well, they're not gonna allow you to keep neutral cards, and so for the next time you play, like a legacy kind of thing or a new game plus.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you don't like the game, or you just don't have time, or your group falls apart, whatever the many reasons of a board gamer
Not
has-
clear, yeah.
not being able to reset it for whoever picks it up next is such a huge oversight.
Yeah.
Like, that is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there technically is a way. You have to look up a component list and meticulously look through all the cards, because they have these codes on it. DL10300 1-7.
Yeah, at the very bottom left.
Yep.
Yeah, those mean nothing. Like,
Well, and you know what it becomes is, oh, cool, my unpaid job.
right.
Let me clock in. Like,
Right. Like, I just found one that was like CRP 020296. It's like,
it's my full government name.
that's crap. It's like, is that copper? No.
Actually, what it would be easier to do is don't reorganize it. If you're going to play it through again, you just know that every time you have to look up a card, you're going to have to look through all of them. But
Well,
you're,
no, but
you're going
that's
to do that whether you reset it once or whether you just pick
Well,
up
that would
individual
work
cards.
for the city cards, but like the actual packs, like these aren't like, this one is no different than this one.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh wait, they actually are colored. Huh. So red, whatever. So, but again, it's like, okay, well the stickers are colored. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Because these are not insane, like silver, but nope, it's like. So, you can't just easily like divide it up and put it back into it
That's
whenever
true.
you're rewarded with a pack.
Right. Because you don't know what was in that pack.
That's yeah.
Okay. You're right.
And even if people were keeping their games and playing through these, well, that's the other thing. It's like, let's say not redoing a campaign, wanting to play with a different group.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I have this group with these 3 characters. I'll play this again, and we'll do the other 3 characters with 2 other people. Oh, hey, we were rewarded a silver pack. I've already opened all of them. Shit. I guess we get nothing. Yeah, that's pretty frustrating.
It does seem like a grave error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is incentive to keep it instead of
Yeah. Well, but
pawning
like,
it off on someone else.
even then, like he's right, because that was my boat. Was like, okay, well, what if you want to resell it? Because that's just how it is now. But like, yeah, what if you want to genuinely replay it?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god.
Again, it'd be super duper easy if they didn't do these silver or these treasure packs. If it was all like tailored to the characters.
Yeah.
And if meticulously said level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that whenever it's like, okay, we're starting over.
Or marked
Here's
with
all your level
symbols
1.
like a bunch
Yeah.
of expansion packs have.
I think there were a lot of ways to make that better. Actually.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, is like all the issues that we're mentioning are theoretically fixable. Like they're if they were to announce like another Kinfire game, I would look at it.
See if they fixed it.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, let's see what changed. It's the same with Massive Darkness. Massive Darkness 1, if you remember, was that stupid. That was just a shit ton of mobs. And it was awful. Massive Darkness 2, which they shouldn't have called because no one looked at it, is leagues better.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. And it's so much fun, in fact, that I actually went out and bought it because I was like, oh yeah, no, that does look fun. Even though I had no interest in the game, because I was like, well, the first one sucked so bad.
But the Massive Darkness 2 Electric Boogaloo.
It's pretty hot. Yeah, so like if they were to announce this, I'd check and be like, okay, did they fix it? Oh no, it's the same exact game, just a different setting. No, but you never know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's all she wrote.
On this, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you guys giving Kinfire Chronicles?
What are you giving it? Because I feel like I'm gonna give it a 4.
Who?
See, again, I want to, yeah.
I don't want to play this again.
Well, see, I want to be bipolar. I want to rate it for quality and theme,
Yeah.
and then I want to rate it for game mechanics, and they're
Oh.
so different.
Yeah,
I don't
that's fair.
I don't know. Its theme is like, I don't know. Okay, darkness is encroaching, and we have these lanterns that can kind of push it back.
Oh yeah, no,
But the
theme
great
isn't-
towers
The theme
fading.
isn't terrific, but it's a lot better than the gameplay.
See, I actually disagree. I did not that I thought the story was bad. It was just so painfully generic that I'm like, the only thing that's unique about it was 2 things. One, the boppin' Western punk pop music with the that dude's voice acting like made me drip.
Wait, which? Oh, are you talking
Luscious Lucas,
about long fingers?
thick fingered Lucas.
Can we find? Does he have an Instagram?
Yeah, does it, or he just talks. Does he do audiobooks?
Does he do ASMR?
He is.
He is.
What's that thing where you can like hire people to do certain like
a celebrity to say something?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, but I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Answering machine messages.
No.
No, I'm old.
This is Thick Finger Luca's phone.
It's like that guy was the voice actor in Bastion, 100%. Anyway, so it's the music that they were going for, but I don't even know that's necessarily them. That could have just been Foreteller's take.
Yeah.
And the art design.
To which
That's the only thing unique that stands out in terms of story from everything else. If you want to talk about like, oh, there's encroaching darkness and the lights are going out, that's Tainted Grail. Like everything that they do have in terms of story, I can pinpoint to another campaign game.
I also feel like that's so like starter pack fantasy is like the darkness.
Right.
I remember watching Twitches when I was a kid. It was a Disney Channel. It was Tia and Tamara Mori.
Yeah, your Disney Channel days.
Disney Channel days, and it was about twin witches, believe it or not, called Twitches, that were trying to beat off the darkness. So if Disney can even do it,
So who was Darkness?
it was the imprisoning one.
It was Luscious Lucas.
It was a Luscious Lucas. Believe it or not, it was just an entity, not even.
But you said that they were trying to beat off Darkness, and then I was like, who's Darkness?
He became
Anyway, there's...
he became a
Hey, you're
14-year-old boy.
I see now.
Hey, by the way, I need to talk to you because your daughter keeps trying to blow bubbles. Hi, I'm Bubbles.
What the fuck? Little weirdo.
Anyway, so sure, Kat, give it 2 rankings for gameplay. 4 is the gameplay, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And its story, what would you give it?
The story, 6.
6?
So,
So
not...
your average would be 5?
Sure. Which is, I think, what I was going to give it as a whole originally.
But then we kept talking, I got more and more mad.
Then I just kept getting pissed off. No.
Brett?
Gameplay, I'd go 3.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. I thought I was...
Story and theme and artwork and production, everything, I'd actually even go 7. Not
Okay.
for originality, but for just it being there and
Quality.
it being well done.
Yeah, so again, average of a 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess if we're splitting,
That was your idea.
You don't have to follow my lead.
Yeah. Be your own person.
no, I'll cap it. I'll lump it all into one. I'm also gonna give it a 5.
Okay, that's fair. But, like, if you were to split...
Here's the thing, though, because the average
If you were to rate the spine of the book separately,
the average wouldn't match because it's like
Yeah.
gameplay. I'd give like I'd give it like a 3. Production 6.
Okay.
So I mean, average wouldn't be a 5, but I think I'm gonna give him
The
a
extra
little
half
bit,
point.
the extra half point because it's like for first time designers probably like the bones are there. They could improve upon this and keep the world going.
It's not impossible.
So
Sure.
so yeah, but finding a 5s all around.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's our thoughts on Kinfire Chronicles. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.